so we do have our recommendations ready. And what I'll be doing is once I hear back from you guys tonight, have to have separate line items for them because they're perpetual care funds. And per Vermont statute, we can't dissolve those. So
That was Jeffersonville.
Jeffersonville and South Cambridge, yep. So those are the two, if you were to roll it into the cemetery budget, they'd still have to be their own separate line items and used specifically for that. And Angela, I feel like I'm talking to the converted.
No, good. That's good.
Okay. The North Cambridge Cemetery stock assets were already cashed out and put into the general fund. So we're good with that one. And then the cutting fund, this created, I think, probably the most conversation. We're looking at the cutting family, all these things. Where does this come from? It came from cutting the grass, the cutting fund. Okay. And with that one, what we're recommending is that it's just transferred to the general fund. Okay. And then the last one is the gray fund. And this one was also a bit of an interesting one. All of the stipulations of the original bequest have been met. And so therefore, any remaining funds can be put right into the general fund for the cemetery. So you're fine on that one.
Sorry, can you repeat that last one? Great.
Yep, for the gray fund. So their original stipulations put on the bequest, those stipulations have already been met. So now you're able to take the remaining funds from the gray fund and just move it into the general cemetery fund.
Okay.
So you've got two that are very specific and you can't tamper with those. One has already been dealt with, and the other two, you're going to be able to roll right into the general cemetery fund.
That's great.
I know, it's so much fun. Now, I'm thinking, what are Justin, Jen, and I going to do with our spare time? Okay.
Just think that the cemetery fund just gained $2,400.
There you go. Oh my gosh, man. So now let's take a look at the curtain fund. And with this one, we've had a lot of conversations with the elementary school. And first of all, the elementary school, Cambridge Elementary, is very happy to continue to house the curtain. However, talking with them and taking a look at everything, what we're recommending is that you officially acknowledge that the curtain belongs to the town of Cambridge and that its maintenance and upkeep will continue to be funded through the town of Cambridge. Okay, like I said, Mary Anderson was absolutely fine with it remaining there. And that's the curtain fund.
So you're recommending a formal agreement that says it can be housed at the school, but the town owns it and will maintain it.
You got it, Angela.
Okay.
And by the way, if you guys haven't had a chance to take a look at the curtain, everybody looks at the front. Forget about the front. Take a look at the back. Because all the students, when the curtain was created, signed their names. And it's like the genealogy of Cambridge. It is hysterical. And we brought some kids around to look at it. And they were looking at going, oh my gosh, that's my grandparents. Or in a couple of cases, great-grandparents. So anyway, that's what we're going to recommend for that.
What year was that curtain made?
Oh, goodness gracious. I knew you'd ask that.
Roughly, do you remember?
It's close to 75 years old,
Okay.
at least. Yeah. And then the last one is the lease lands. And you guys actually already took care of this. And now it's just a matter of completing the transaction. So back in December of 2019, in advance of the state statute, your predecessors, or actually, Cody, I think you're still there, but you voted to relinquish the town's interest in the perpetual lease funds. And you did that in advance of the state statute, which was going into effect on January 1, 2020, which automatically relinquished the lease lands. So,
And I think we did it because there was a land acquisition, a private property that was being acquired, and their legal team discovered it. And I think in order for that transaction to be finalized,
yep,
they asked if the town would just relinquish it, just so it was cleaning up the real estate legalities.
you got it. To use a good legal term, boingo boingo, you're spot on. That's exactly why it happened.
Okay.
And
I don't remember what I had for breakfast, but apparently I was here that
but
day.
that, well, I'll tell you what, this has been a fascinating trip down the rabbit hole. So anyway, what we're recommending now is that you release those funds into the general fund. And
And that's the Lamoille County Grammar School certificate.
yep, all of the above. It comes to about 1,658.05. I think it is. No, 12 cents. That's right.
Oh, sorry, no, there's another one that's a lease land
Yeah.
escrow account.
Right. It's the
16.
lease lands and the grammar school, right?
Yep, okay.
And you're good. And
Yeah,
so if
love
you
it.
guys approve of what I've just said, I'll put it into all kinds of legalese to thrill Jim Barlow and send it to him.
Look at that, Donna, we're cleaning up the bank accounts.
Oh, and by the way, thanks to Donna, because Donna dove in so many weird things for us, and she never complained, at least in front of us. So we're awfully grateful to you.
She's good like that.
When you leave, I'm gonna ask her what she did.
And then Dan, I'm walking down the road.
Any questions? April, first off, thank you.
Yeah,
For you, both, you and the rest of the team.
Well, the only question we all had, of course, I'm 1 year. The other two are 2 and 3 years. Is the committee now dissolved?
Well,
Or
I
do they
think
have
you're,
to sit around for 2 and 3 years?
well,
Of course.
I think it would be nice to just keep your names in the book anyways for 2 more years,
All right.
or some of your names
I'll
anyways.
approve of that.
Thank you.
Okay. Excellent, but really.
You did a
it was
great
fun.
job. I mean, you're ahead of schedule and
I know. Angel, I mean, think about when we first met and we're all like going, what on earth did we get ourselves into? And it just started coming together.
Great.
So, all right.
So you don't need anything from here, you're gonna send that documented, the stuff to Jim, and
Absolutely.
Jim will
And what I can,
basically let Donna know how to make the transfers or the whatever. the legal-
Yep. we'll do all that officially. And then Eric and Donna, would it help if I sent you guys my notes from this so that you have it on record? Because my notes, of course, sound more official than I sound.
I'm wondering
Okay.
if he's gonna recommend whether it needs to be like recorded officially or something, or if that, I don't know. I guess Jim will let us know what it really needs to
I
happen.
think that would be a good idea if it was in the form of, sure Jim can do that, where he will say, move this,
Yeah,
this has to stay, or and this can be moved into the cemetery asset account, this can be moved into the general account. So then no one will be wondering where those move.
where'd we put it?
It'll be.
I think, so, yeah. I think you're right.
so,
It's easy. Thank you, gang. And you've got like 20 found minutes.
well, I'm sure I'll wreck it. Because
Great.
I can talk, believe you me.
I have a feeling you'll use it all.
Well,
Again, thank you to the
Yeah.
team as well.
appreciate it.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
It's good.
yeah.
Good night.
Say hi to Ron.
So next, we'll go on to structural elevations. Everyone's favorite.
I've been waiting.
Is there new information?
Yeah.
I just created this checklist. Cody asked that I put on paper what needs to be done in a global,
A roadmap, if you will.
broad spectrum, and this is what I came up with.
Very beautiful.
Nobody uses maps anymore.
Even Google.
Okay, go ahead.
Lucky man.
So,
Make a good chair next year, Angela.
you're so funny. Hmm.
So if everyone's looking at it, I mean, it's somewhat self-explanatory, but these are the steps we need to follow to be in compliance with Vermont emergency management, floodplain, historic preservation, and FEMA. I'm sure this isn't I'm sure there will be surprises as this process goes along. Just getting answers to these questions was exceedingly difficult. I actually gained most of this information from our friends in Montpelier who are going through an elevation currently.
Good.
Their managers there helped me fill in a lot of the blanks.
So like on the first one under design to ensure lowest floor.
Yeah.
How did they do that? Did they hire a surveyor to determine all that?
Yes.
Is that how okay.
And you have to hire a surveyor
Yeah.
to meet the national floodplain.
And how do they determine, do they have to go to those, whatever the 1980s, whatever that map is to determine what the,
Montpelier's a little ahead of us where they have the new maps, although they went based off those. Depending on when we do this, our maps are coming, supposedly they're the new maps.
but a few years?
It's been a few years, so if those somehow miraculously hit between now and inception, then we'll have to follow those. But right now, we would follow the 1980s FEMA maps, which roughly speaking elevates the Cambridge properties about 4 feet.
NIFIP, National Flood Insurance. Check. If, National Flood Insurance Program, I know that one. ASCE 24, I assume, is the American Society of Civil Engineers.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what that means. I know what ASCE is. I think I might be a member, but I don't know what ASCE 24 is.
That is the VEM. That is what VEM sent me for. Because Montpelier told me we needed to follow ASCE. They said has to be the latest edition. So I threw that in there.
I literally don't know. I mean, it's a society of civil engineers in
Yeah.
America, but I don't know that they have a book of standards.
I don't either, but
I would think it'd be more like, I don't even know what it'd be, like, Vermont doesn't really have, it'd be like an international building code or something like that, I think, but I don't really know.
yeah. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Then we don't,
There is an ASCE library for your reading pleasure. You really want to look into it.
trying to get my PE switched over to, New Hampshire, and they're being exceedingly difficult.
Mm.
They haven't been doing enough work. Here. But anyways, local flood hazard regulations, that mean just like town?
yes. So our floodplain board of adjustment would be involved.
Yep. What capacity, just to review the project?
Yeah. And if for some reason our regulations exceed the NFIPs, then we would follow our locals. I don't think they are.
DEC floodplain manager, is that, that's Vermont DEC?
Yep.
Do we know who that is?
Yes.
What is DEC?
Department of Environmental Conservation.
Okay.
Yeah. I was confident when I started and was.
So we have to consult with them and then get their sign off to approve this work.
Okay. Um. If in, what's the S,
Special,
confirmed project has obtained local permit, if in S,
special flood hazard area.
do we know what that is?
Yes, and it's there.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, well, that's, okay, but that's still a local thing.
Yep.
Okay.
It is.
The one that scares me the most is SHPO,
Oh,
State Historic Preservation.
Those are the ones that scared.
Yeah,
Should scare. That's not scare, but those are what's gonna stall the project. Possibly.
What's the P in that, SHPO?
State Historic Preservation.
Oh, preservation, thank you.
Organization. Not sure what the O means.
I should know.
Obstacle. I've seen a lot of projects get stalled out on that one. Phase one's really not a huge deal.
office. O stands for office. State
What's that?
Historic Preservation Office.
Office.
Organization.
Phase one is like. It's like looking into it's basically a lot of book work. It's office work. It's not going out to test pits to test the soils.
And all three properties do fall under phase one because of the former site or maybe an active site at the old post office. Or maybe even the new post office, but that brick building at the corner of Route 15 and Mansfield Ave. That's a site,
Really?
so
To Cambridge Inn, sure.
these three properties fall within that boundary.
Huh.
Or phase one. Which isn't, like Cody said, a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but it is another process and it does cost money and. So,
So if for some reason, one of these organizations that has to give their approval says no, we're dead, we're done.
they'll
We've
likely
done the
not
money
say
back?
No, they're gonna say yes with conditions.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like. The historic preservation, like if there really is a grave in one of these buildings or multiple of these buildings. Like that's probably what they're gonna have to say. These are all historic structures.
Two for sure.
And if that's the case, then they're probably gonna have some pretty strict requirements on what the building looks like and how modifications are made to it.
And what structural elements we can do to,
okay.
you know.
Yeah, so they could have a very long list, and it's hard to imagine what it is.
Right.
But it could be an unknown.
But once we get that information, right? Then we go to the homeowner and say.
Well, I guess I can probably summarize it unless Eric was going to do it. But so we need to. We need to start gathering quotes on some things, or at least budget proposals from vendors. So like getting a surveyor out there to establish the grades. A phase one environmental survey. I mean, some of these things like consult with the DEC floodplain manager, that's like. What? Oh, me, apparently. I don't know who that is.
There's no money.
I was
involved with
like,
that.
Gila, shut your phone off. Whoops. I mean, things like consult with the DC floodplain manager and your local hazard flood committee. I mean, those aren't cost, if you will, but it's time
Time.
and somebody's effort. Eric, effort to
Someone needs to follow it.
right, and so like, obviously, I mean, I think it's Dana,
Kathy, the one that you have to write to the paper, and then,
Tom on it,
yes, Tom.
Tom Wyckoff.
Yep.
So they have three floodplain as of like the spring anyway,
Yeah.
were there. So consulting with them. So the time is gonna be, and then there's obviously the construction piece too, which we can only get so close because we're not gonna know what these permit conditions are and how they're gonna affect the pricing, but they could very much affect the pricing. So applying some contingency factor on top of all the quotes we get is probably realistic. or probably not uncalled for.
Can you just say that again?
So
Add some
We
money to it.
we can say, okay, it's gonna cost, you know, 150, we go talk to a building mover, he says, budget $100,000 to lift this building and pour a new foundation. We're not gonna know yet how high the building has to go, but let's just say, we say, okay, we're gonna say it's 4 feet, just to be, you know, pick a number. Educated guess.
Mhm.
We tell them it's 4 feet, but then we do the survey and it comes out it's 4.5 feet, and it's gonna add some cost to it. Or Shippo comes back and say, well, you know, the concrete's gotta have some type of, you know, brick veneer form liner on it, just to make it look fancy and historic. I don't know if they'll say that or not, but that's gonna add cost. So whatever we get for cost estimates for like raising the building, putting foundation under it, we're probably gonna have to try to put a contingency factor on top of it for those unknowns.
I got it, yeah,
And there's still always the risk that we could overrun on that anyways, still.
right. But when you say we, it's not really we, is it?
Well, I think, me, my opinion, feel that we owe it to these residents or these homeowners to develop some sort of budget so they can understand, hey, we've got 600,000, 500,000 divided by 3,
Mhm.
and it's gonna cost us 800,000.
Right,
So between the three of you, you're gonna each have to come up with the difference to pay. Are you willing to do that?
right,
And this is like our best guess at this time. If the project ends up costing $1 million,
right,
you basically can double what you thought you were gonna put in.
right.
If it were me, I'd probably be like, you don't know for sure, can't guarantee how much this is gonna cost me. I don't know that I would sign up for that deal. And I gotta imagine that there's gonna be some hesitancy. But we don't really know what that number is.
But until we get to their hesitancy, we gotta do a lot of legwork to present it in our best educated guess of what the federal government is offering you.
Yeah.
What the town of Cambridge is willing to pour into the research of it. Because we have to administrate that 500,000.
Yeah.
But you're free to say no, right? I mean, that's,
But if any one of them say no, that 500,000 drops by a third, right? Or
It's a lump sum.
oh,
So,
the other two can't use it then?
yes,
oh,
yeah, right now it's divided by 3. If one drops out, it's divided by 2.
Oh,
So the money we were awarded isn't awarded to
Contingent
properties
on numbers.
specific, it's awarded to Cambridge for elevations,
okay.
so. Which is unusual, but.
That is unusual because if you were the person who said, okay, I'm out, I can't get a loan, I'm retired or whatever you said. Those other two just made their project affordable.
well, the other hard conversation to have is, if I'm picturing the 3 properties correctly, 2 of them are substantially larger than the third. And how do you equate that to the 500,000?
Square footage or something.
You're gonna have to, that's one way for sure. I don't know if you have to, but it's one way to do it. And have you deem that equitably, you know, if one building doesn't have
Mm,
a grave under it, but the other 2 do.
mm.
I mean, there's added cost there that's
Yeah. a
2
lot of variables.
stake and 1 should, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of accounting. but
Oh,
it could be
boy, oh,
messy.
boy.
And it's gonna be hard to judge that fairly, I think, but.
Is there any possibility, this is FEMA money, already said it, that these people could apply for private grants to do this? Like through the Vermont Historic? I mean, is there a way that they don't have to go to a bank and say,
Well, they could always do this on their own.
Yeah.
Without any town, state, federal funding whatsoever. And they wouldn't have to be abided by any of this crap,
mm,
pardon my French.
mm.
In a way, they might
I mean,
self-fund
honestly,
it for quite a while.
I mean, if you told me, like, I don't know, that it was with that 500,000 and going through all these hoops, it was still gonna cost the homeowners $150,000 a piece.
Mhm.
I mean, they might be better off to go call a house mover and be like, give me a price to just do it. Because to me, if it costs you $160,000 and have a guaranteed price from a contractor, a reputable contractor, I would just do that as opposed to waiting 3 to 5 years.
You know, we could estimate 150,000, it could be at 175. We just,
300, yeah.
there's so many variables in the process that we're not that familiar with that could
And,
change things.
and ask Gene Jakakis how
Yeah, we have a local resident that's a,
expert.
been through this, and she knows exactly the stability of the process, so.
And she got federal money to do her, help do her project.
How many years
We
later?
paid her last reimbursement like probably a month or two ago.
Yeah, I remember her being here.
10 years.
In 2011.
Or, yeah, but more than, oh yeah, way more than 10 years, yeah.
Yeah. It was a long time.
So,
So I think with the next thing, now they can see this roadmap would be to. I mean, I guess we kind of have to assume those flood maps, the ones we have that are most current.
Yep.
To try to see if we can gauge from those what 2 feet is. 2 feet above base flood elevation. But I don't know, what does that mean, base flood elevation? I zoomed over that one. Their definition must be something.
yeah, it's 500-year. I think it's the 500-year flood mark, and you have to go 2 feet above that first floor. And when I looked at it, when I was doing this, it looked like it'd be about 4 feet.
The 1927 flood is like 4 feet up the monument. Those houses are lower over there. They're like 6 feet.
I think 27 was a larger event.
Like 5,000 year event.
Oh, that was 5,000 years?
I don't know. They only go to 500, but.
I mean, we can. I've got some contacts there. I talked to a couple people a while back about getting some ideas on this. I mean, we also, Eric's established a contact with another town. We can see who they use for some of these vendors, if they have already. Get some budgets going. And there's surveying is here in town. We could ask them for a budget and then establish some grades there. Designer, engineer.
So you would use Button? So can we combine a
Well,
couple of projects here?
Well, it's just establishing getting a budget, basically, just to say, hey, how long would what would it take to study those maps? Go out here, shoot some shots at the 3 properties and establish a benchmark at all three locations.
Yeah.
So just be a written proposal, basically, or verbal, I don't, whatever.
Sure.
But I don't know, we don't need 100 quotes for just establishing a budget, so something to get a baseline. Maybe talk to a couple engineers. I talked to D&K. He said they wouldn't do it, but he said he had some people that he would recommend that'd be better suited for a project like this.
Yeah, historic preservation and
He told Tim Dahl is who we use for structural stuff, and he said, I'd be willing to help you on a project like this, but he goes, I'm not that interested in it. He goes, I got enough stuff. I don't need this. But he knew about it. He was aware of like all the processes and the boxes. He's like, oh yeah, like it's involved for sure. It's not what we do every day, so. And we could do it, but I don't really want to.
Didn't we have somebody from Du Bois and King who, that they hired for their study?
who's this?
For the, historical piece? We had somebody come in and do the historical piece for,
Was it historic or archaeological?
Archaeological.
just archaeology? I
Yeah.
thought they were doing both. Okay,
No, archaeological.
somebody different. Okay.
And then obviously we know a few contractors that could get, once we have a guess of what that elevation is, whether it's 4 feet or not. Try to develop some type of budget to.
Yeah.
See what it would cost for the actual cost.
Yeah, the structural aspect to see what's gonna be involved to
Right.
lift these places.
So, I mean, we could. I say we, I keep saying we, I do plan to help. And I'll do as much legwork as I can.
Yeah.
I think that's after seeing the roadmap now, what the next step is to try to fill in
Yeah.
some of these pockets of info with. You know, plugs, start plugging some numbers in.
Excuse me. You get help from city, Montpelier?
Yes.
There's no town in Montpelier, is there?
It's, there's two.
Is there?
He actually, because I asked him what his official capacity was supposed to be, and he's building maintenance manager or something along those lines, and I can tell you his name is Chris something.
Oh.
And he, the former guy who started this process left, and he inherited it, and he's been running with it. And then they managed it in-house for one, and they said there's no way they're gonna do another one, so they're gonna look for a manager this winter to do the next couple.
How many did they have?
Three. Yeah, 3 or 5.
They give them
3 or 5. 3 or 5. They paid them a lot more money than we. That was ours, yeah. And I'm not sure why, but
because they thought they were the Capitol building we're talking about.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he was a good resource.
Yeah, so, I think, Eric, if you wanna start by asking him if he'd be willing to share the vendors that they use.
He shared the concrete and elevation, right to the house. They have a lot of they're straight the streets, so they have a lot of issues with utilities and things like that. But
What about like the engineer, the architect, whatever they used for the design, or did that person do all that?
he told me who they used and recommended someone else, so.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was very, very, very good about that.
Yeah,
So I would probably need some names. That for the designer, but
yeah, I'd certainly be one to ask Tim all about that, as well, cause it can compare notes to what you said and what Jim says.
yeah,
But if you could try to find out, like from those maps of, if you, or just confirm if you think 4 feet is reasonable,
that's
or
what I
whether we should.
thought was reasonable, like I really. Yeah, survey would be.
Is there somebody at like, I don't know, VLCT or some other entity that could, I don't know, take a look at it and just see if they agree? I don't know what.
As far as the elevation?
Yeah.
I think
Or, I don't know,
I think I'm
or learn.
somebody, yeah, I don't know, learn or. Yeah, I'd have to.
I'm sorry, I'm not good with the letters of names. The SLR is doing the
Ask them.
bypass, but they also did a whole study with the elevations of the high, low,
The flow,
medium
the flows of the oils.
flows. Would that
I don't know
help
if
you?
they did that in Cambridge Village as much. They did?
Yeah, I was at the library last night. They were,
Okay. It would be good if they had that info.
yeah,
Digital too.
yeah, it is.
Oh. I couldn't have gotten anyways, cause I was busy. But, okay.
Side conversation.
So I think that's really the next step, is to start plugging some numbers in a spreadsheet. And I'm happy to help how I can. So if you wanna assign me a couple of duties, I can do it.
I'll be with the design engineer and then.
Okay.
That would be a good,
Do you got that person's name over at Button?
I do,
Barnard Jarvis be another one if you wanted to just check with Mike on that one.
I will. Yeah, we'll just start with those two. We don't
Yeah.
need, like you said, we don't need to really.
Just curious, who did they use for a building over in that first project down there?
Rogers.
England building moving to Johnson.
He really was impressed with Miss Rogers.
Yeah.
Construction, what do they do? He said that
WB Rogers?
he didn't say any initials, he just, I asked. 'Cause I asked what their budget was and
It's big.
it was huge. But they were going a little bit higher than we would be, I think, so.
Mm.
And they had a little bit more complications being the streets with utilities and other things, but, and that doesn't include any landscaping or anything like that.
Any other questions on this front for the structural elevations? Okay, no. Okay. If you don't mind sending me that list of the one they used and the one he recommended.
Yeah.
Or multiple, if you had multiple, okay. Anything else? Okay, thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Aaron.
Okay. Next topic is budget discussion review for 26.
We haven't made it too far, but this is the start on a Excel spreadsheet. Wasn't sure if we just wanted to start on something or just go over a broad overview or.
Do a couple things for me.
Sure.
You scroll all the way to the top. You select row 1 and view trees.
Oh, for this top.
Sweet, thank you.
Yep.
And then anyway, you can zoom in just here more. Thank you. Oh yeah, that's better. Maybe is that good for you guys? I can read it. I'm the farthest one away, Danny. Come on.
What do you think I said here?
All right, so revenue, I think we probably can save that for a different day, but.
And do you have the highway stuff kind of?
Started to, yeah,
Okay.
we got, get started with it. Oh. Some of my stuff came over and some of it didn't. So I lied. This version doesn't have the highway stuff on it either, so I'm not sure what I did wrong. Highway, I can give you the verbal overview. Not a lot of changes as far as summer roads is concerned. Winter roads, as you expect, we used a lot of salt and sand last year, so we depleted all of our stocks and resources, so we're gonna have to increase to, get us back up to where we were at the beginning of last year. Salt had another increase this year.
Where does that come out of? Okay.
We came out of Canada. Even with the possibility of a tariff, we're still feel like
It's a better buy.
we're better buy. The locals were really, really expensive. Unfortunately,
I see the sand pile is pretty full there. I got a month left.
sand's done for the year. We won't buy sand until
Yeah.
next summer.
Just really depends on how much you eat up in the next month.
Salt is where we're kind of. We don't have a lot open to get through. So we don't have to buy any this year. That's the short of that.
Was summer before this?
The numbers look pretty good.
Yeah, you gotta still keep in mind on the wages. When was this poll? Remember those 10/22?
These numbers are quarter three numbers. You're right, sorry, 10/22.
So I was just going by the date.
Yeah, so this
You got-
number here is wrong. There hasn't, my wages need to be divided out of that. So that'll bring that down to budget. Everything else, yeah. The chloride it was a dry year. We used a lot more chloride than we thought.
Roadside, well, yeah, it was a drought for three months.
3 months.
So,
Everybody did.
Roadside mowing will be
that's just the tractor and any consumables. and-
tractors, blades, and repairing things that we mowed that we shouldn't have.
What's that red, I've been meaning to ask you, what's the red thing mounted on the back of that tractor?
So that's a leaf blower.
Oh, okay.
So we blow the leaves out of the ditches so they don't plug the culverts.
Yeah.
Blow the debris out of the road when we
Finished.
mow things.
Are you gonna do any guardrail stuff?
Guardrails are coming on December 2nd,
Oh, you got a hold of them.
2 weeks. I talked to him today, actually.
Well, I have to say that I was very impressed with how our roadside mowing started as early as it did this year.
Yeah.
And our roadsides look nice.
Well, I think, well, time will tell, but hopefully the experiment is going to pay off in the long run.
Hoping that,
So what did we pay last year out of pocket to hire someone? Was it last year or 2 years ago?
last year, well,
Somewhere between.
2024,
I'll get the fucking book. Yeah.
Yeah. with brush mowing and everything, it was a lot. I think it was 40 and 25.
And that was just one mowing
That was one mowing.
as opposed to you did it at least twice, right?
Did he get everything done a second time?
No, not a second, but we did all the main roads a second time. All, I say main, all the paved, like Pumpkin Harbors, Cambridge.
Between brush and tree and roadside, we spent 36,000. Did we have brush and tree? Yeah, we zeroed that, right?
That one out
We used to do it just once a year.
once a year, yeah. And we did a lot more brush mowing, and a lot more roads, and like years past, like we do like 10 feet. This year we went as far as we could.
And this was an experimental year too.
Yeah.
Of
Everybody's,
something new.
everybody's learning how to use it, learning what to do.
We're not gonna get better too.
Yeah,
What do you anticipate, or do you see anything needing to change for next year on either summer or winter?
roadside mowing should be flat, brush tree removal. Need larger trees, we can't mulch with it.
Right.
We just need to have a little bit there to rent a chipper to get some of these larger trees taken care of. Other than that, um, we have winter equipment and summer equipment. I really think that would be good to get away from charging cutting edges to trucks to give us a better idea of what we're spending on truck maintenance or when we're looking at replacements and things like that, and return on investments, that we're not complicating that with cutting edges and shoes and things on snowplows that are a wear item that really have nothing to do with the truck maintenance is,
That's where it goes now.
that's where it goes now.
So like, I'm not saying that, you probably make a fair point. I didn't know if there was like a correlation between like who's driving the truck to some of those wear items or not.
Well, like truck 6, we spend $3,000 or $4,000 a year in cutting edges because it's on pavement all the time. Whereas a gravel truck would spend a lot less, so it's a little bit skewed. It's harder for me to determine where we are when I'm trying to calculate all these exceptions.
Yeah,
So if you were to put the cutting edges, what are you suggesting you put it under?
So right now we have a winter equipment, so that's
Yeah.
where all of our cutting edges go, and all of our shoes and winter items, tire chain and things like that. Summer stuff, so we have a grader bits or, if we, think maybe cutting edges for a loader or things like that, that all just goes to the equipment. It doesn't get charged to anything other than that. So like, for example, the grader, everyone's like, what? What do you mean? We spent, this grader's brand new. well. 11,000, that's greater beds. So,
Stinger beds.
stinger beds. Yep, so,
How often do you replace those? Once a year?
it's dry year like this year, every month, yeah, roads are really hard and.
It was a really odd year for a lot of this.
Yeah.
So,
Um. Fuel. Feel like you explain this every time. What are we missing there? Are we missing anything?
We just got another load, so this will. End of the year, we'll be close. We run a lot of fuel when we plow snow, so. We just got a tank, we'll need another fuel tank probably in. Beginning of December, so that'll bring us up to about 110,000. 115. Depending what
Have you started talking with courses on that, as far as what they're thinking?
Yeah.
We have a contract with them for multiple years, or was it just year to year?
This is our last year on 3 years.
That's right, okay, yeah. Be interesting to have that conversation and go.
Yeah, they gave us rack pricing, but
Yeah.
this was 3 years ago. Anyway. Another thing that vehicle fuel is DEF. Diesel exhaust fluid. It's still $3 a gallon. We burn a lot of that now. Everything has it, so,
you burn more in winter.
yeah, we burn a lot more in winter, so that's another expense to consider that we'll need.
You buy that in goats now?
We have, Dennison deliver it in bulk into a tank we have in the shop. So they just fit directly in, so we don't have to move it around.
Just as a true.
Yeah. Culverts,
Does anybody else use that DEF?
what's that?
Does anybody else use your DEF?
All of them do, yeah. School does.
How was that measured? They did measure and track that the same way?
So we don't have a tracking, we just have a clipboard. On our system with that one. It's we have a meter on a pump and
Do the fire trucks have that?
I don't think so.
No, we don't use it. That's why I was asking.
Yep.
Who uses it?
Bus
School.
Because I'd be curious to,
Yeah.
just,
The ambulances must have.
Ambulance, they don't burn enough, they buy the jugs for the APA and dump it in.
well, we buy the jugs too. Fire departments. But it's,
Well, I guess that makes more sense. They're not running.
we don't put it out as much.
Yeah.
So you guys will use a lot.
Yeah, we probably use 1,000 gallons of it a year.
What are you doing in 101 Smugs View? Special project.
It needs to be paved.
Oh.
But it needs more than paving. It's,
Oh.
the sub base is terrible.
Mm.
These are projects that Justin's looking into to tell me what needs to be done and what, footage is, so we can calculate tons and things like that.
Mm.
I created this for myself, this reconstruction, our gravel roads need attention as well. The idea a few years ago was to take our paving budget every other year and try to rebuild a section of gravel road. But then we fell behind on our paving and that didn't benefit us either. So I'm working with, trying to work on something to make reconstruction feasible.
I wouldn't think the business park would be very, high on that list.
Yeah, that's not a paving. There's a section of gravel there that falls apart on the bottom every year. If you go down to that center, there's pavement, and then there's a 500-600 feet of gravel.
I mean, the loop,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it's
don't
not,
think that's town road.
yeah, it is. Oh, well, it's been plowed right down the road for years and years and years.
I was literally just looking at the town.
Were you really?
Cause I had a question from a potential buyer.
Oh.
That's a town road.
Really?
I think it goes right. and then it goes left. That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
We put a lot of money into that section.
You drove a truck down over that hill?
Yeah.
Into that? Wow.
We'll look into it. Anyway,
Still have the map.
what's that?
I still have the map up. I was literally looking at this the other day.
Perfect.
Anyways.
Oh,
This line 391. Out of curiosity, I know it's missing something, but
this was a pedestrian crossing grant. We had, I was just gonna take it out of there. This is an old FEMA project that's closed out. Yeah, there was that one. These are. Yeah, the projects and grants up here now that we maintain. It's a little easier to track. But budgets and a lot of these buyouts and potentially elevations. This year, but a lot of these go away. Away.
it's not that.
Go away. Small ones go away. Yep. So. Moving, a good topic I was gonna put for next meeting was, trolling enforcement contracts. What we wanna do with that.
I think, well, I think I would like to break that out between Lamoille and state VSP, I think. What are your guys' thoughts?
Fine by me.
Easier to tell the difference between the two.
Well, I think it would be good to just see the comparison, how much we pay each of them. What does the town office think about as far as how many complaints come in about speeding? Has there been noticeable reduction, same? Or,
Noticeable improvement.
well, my initial gut was to say, certainly don't do anything less than what we did last year. And I said, I have to remember how much we split it up between the two of them.
I have it as an agenda item meeting to discuss it and get into details so we can pull up the contracts and, and talk about it, but from my perspective. It's
Cause
been,
VSB does 6 months, right?
yes,
So we should be seeing there.
I asked for it yesterday and they said nothing's gonna change, so
Oh,
we'll be able to use the old numbers and Roger is more than willing to,
is his 6 months too?
his is a year, but he said he'd easily do an addendum, whatever he wanted to do to update his.
Yeah, it's odd because they run on a different fiscal cycle than we do, so
Both of them do, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just,
it'd be good. Well, I mean, VSP does it, yeah. It's almost nicer they do it by 6 months, so at least we're only guessing once, but yeah, a little closer, but. Yeah, I guess it'd be nice if Roger could. With some sense of where he thought the second half of next year might go.
so,
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't do any less, but.
yeah, we'll talk about that.
Something to keep in mind with the groups that are going to the finance committee. Because of how, and I don't know how this was communicated to the groups there. But one of the things I was gonna remind Tricia about is because how we changed the accounting, that there's money, the rollover funds. That they're staying there in that account.
Mhm.
Like, so if, in theory. It should be really easy for us, any of us, to see how much money they have. And I'm hoping that the finance committee is when they talk to, I'm just gonna pick on the village beautification committee. That they're gonna be like, hey, you guys are asking for $5,000.
Yeah.
You know, you've got $1,200 left over from last year that was unspent. You need, like, have you taken that into account?
Yeah.
Do we need to put, you know, can we use up some of that account? And so I know some groups already do that. I believe Laird already kind of looks into that and he usually asks.
So they all have to fill out the spreadsheet that every group has, and they have to include their rollover
Yeah.
funds, so, and it's been,
I know it's been a bit of a challenge in years past that it's a little bit harder to find that information. It certainly was
right,
more years ago.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's a little easier for them to see and for them to track that.
yeah, no, it was, but
Cause I hope that they're asking them, hammering them on that question.
they have done.
It'll be interesting now too, because the cemetery commission's numbers are gonna change a little bit here with this, and it may not be quite as obvious in, you know, a month, but
Yeah.
hopefully by next year with those other funds cleaned up, that we'll be able to see a little bit more.
Mm.
You know, what that difference is.
So when those accounts, fund and the gray fund, will those go into the general fund or the general cemetery fund?
My opinion is that they should stay in the cemetery funds. Is my opinion.
Your opinion too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think what she said the general fund, but yes, I was thinking cemeteries,
Okay.
the cemetery. Asset account or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So I suspect that one, I mean, their budget is what, 15,000-ish a year, 17,000, so.
Yes.
Even with $3,000 or $4,000, I mean, it'll make a difference eventually for them, so.
Yeah.
But until we know really what the final number is.
Healthcare, we'll scroll back up here, healthcare is going up again.
Should they
Shocking.
give a percentage yet, or do we know
Remember what the percentage was?
roughly?
I can go look.
It's not as much as last year, I think it's 9.3.
Wow. Or five? Well, yeah, it doesn't matter.
There it is. We looked at that today, actually.
Do we have any substantial, like, has anybody, we've changed a couple people, but as far as the numbers of people that are in and out of the groups, has it substantially changed?
No. No, it hasn't changed at all. No. It's changed at all, has it? We had two. We had one opt out last year, I think maybe that'd be the only variance.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
We added two, we lost one.
Okay.
Jason's gone, yeah,
I just do
stay
think,
then, like,
so,
I don't really have anything specific or concerned for this discussion, so as far as any other big buckets or topics that you wanna,
no, so what I'll do for the next meeting is I'll fill in everything as bubble. Then I'll talk to Donna about her budget. Talk about where we're at. Yeah, by then I'll have the in town, I should have almost all the in town stuff, and then have all the out of town appropriations as well. So,
this is slightly off topic. When we get into putting it into the book. Do we have, I can't remember, do we have a contract with that company Repro still, or did that expire last year?
so she's reached out. I let it expire last year
Cause we were gonna
because
change the quantity.
we changed the quantity heavily, so she's reached out. I talked to the auditors about the new quantity,
Yeah,
and postcards and no postcards. I guess that's not really gonna be a factor as far as the contract, but, I've quote unquote signed up for another year with 1 year with them to do another cycle. It's less expensive to go for 3 years, but not knowing.
no, I
where-
think that's a fair, cause we don't really know how many we're gonna need. And
Right,
I definitely would like, especially this first year with the change, I would like to see how many are actually consumed.
yeah, we went a little conservative. We did 1,500, no, 1,700 last year. And we're signing up for 750 this year. And the repro was, they gave us all the data from towns that do business with them around us, and it seems like we're gonna land around the 350 area, but not knowing the first year,
Right.
yeah, we went a little high, but see,
I got a lot of comments about how the budget was represented in the book. And I definitely wanna. There's some things we could, think we gotta try to tweak. Just even today, looking at the last 2 years, there was some differences and I got some feedback that I wanna try to incorporate into this year, so. Yeah, there's something to think about when we get to that road.
When is that road?
January.
Okay.
Starts slow and then there's a sprint at the very end.
Really?
I say that. I don't sprint very much anymore, but
It feels like
it's a
it.
sprint for the people in this office.
Oh,
Um. I guess I don't have any other thoughts, comments or feedback on this.
I had one, Eric, just seeing that, what is Lamell North? No. Bus fuel reimbursement.
it's the money they give us for diesel fuel to take for the buses.
Oh,
So we paid for it all in that other line item we were just looking at. And then we got reimbursed for some of it. Grants, the grants and aid thing oughta change for next year, right? Be back on the regular cycle.
It'll be back down to, just 25,000. And we had 2 in one for this one.
Sorry, that's not the one I meant.
This one,
Road money, sorry, I was looking for road money.
road money. Road money will be back up. So this only incorporates
To be
2
about
months.
150,000. Okay, anybody else have anything they want to mention about this?
nope.
Thank you, Eric. Other business. Peter,
Just, I went over to the library yesterday and, went to the planning commission meeting. And there were some discussions there that I was wondering about the possibility of having the development review board and the planning commission come in and discuss their issues that they're dealing with. Certainly there's frustration with having no power to control anything. And so basically to have a discussion and seeing if there's some things we could do to organize differently or whatever. I'm not thinking that anything in particular.
was the full DRB there last, I intended to go, I totally forgot about it. Was the full DRB there?
Not at all. It was just,
Anybody was-
it was just the planning
Oh.
commission, but the issues that came up, with the planning commission were things that supposedly the development review board would be dealing with. And I say a name, the Robbie Nuzzo thing along that road. And I just would like to better understand that and let the people who are having issues come in. And
So is the discussion mainly from the planning commission's perspective, or is it from the public's perspective at the meeting, or both?
oh,
Mostly public, actually.
Uh,
yeah, I think the planning, in their answers to questions about how to rewrite what they've already put in and ready to be okayed by us. The people were going, there's no controls here, there's nothing that, am I basically saying?
you said it right.
Yeah, and since there's nothing, why even have it if you don't have any control?
Yeah, I mean, I'm vaguely familiar with the issue, that specific issue.
It's just an example.
Oh, yeah, I know it's an example. I just, to me, that example doesn't compare with the specific situation because it's its own deal, but, I'm okay with it. I don't have any issue with them coming in. Talking about any topic really.
Right.
We can, oops, I skipped my agenda. I mean, you wanna move into the agenda for next time, or do you have anything other than that specific?
That's basically it.
Okay,
I mean, there is one other thing, I went around and took pictures of things that people have complained about around town. Basically, things being built on supposedly a town road, that has been asked about by Smuggler's Notch, I'll say that. And there's a bridge across the Brewster River that I didn't know that you could build a bridge across the Brewster River without a lot of input from the state and so forth. This is another case of
They did
people
get
just
it.
doing what they want to do without any permitting that I am
They got a
aware of.
permit to do it.
What's that?
They got a permit to do it.
Oh, they did.
Yes, yeah.
there's a bridge on the Lower Valley Road over the Seymour too. On private land.
Yep. And
I know that,
that one that they're talking about is in DRB right now for a subdivision, so that's gonna correct all the right of way issues. So
Can you just be more specific?
trying not to be, but
It's like we're talking cryptically.
yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
Always.
Why?
Always.
Because we don't want to get into trouble.
well,
Get buried here.
I certainly don't want to be a person that people are allowed to express their opinions and feelings on matters. What the reality of the rules and regulations are to this day, to me, it's clear. People have differing opinions of whether that's right or not.
Sure.
And I don't want to speak on their behalf if their feelings are valid, not valid, correct or incorrect. And so out of just respect for that, I'd just rather not speak names, but I guess.
Well, and
It's fine. You can say no.
well, and it would be better if in fact it came through. I'm talking about something that I thought was being done without any permitting at all.
Yeah.
And
Well, we should clarify. Do you recall who?
Precisely.
Who we
That's kind of my
talked to
point.
yesterday at public comment? Maybe we should invite him here for public comments at the
He's-
select board meeting next.
at the end of the road there with
Fleemus Road.
Polimus
Yeah,
Road.
Eric's talked with him a dozen times. I've talked with him at least 3 times.
Right, I'm,
That what he's saying is that Polimus Road is a town highway. And to a point, he's correct. Polimus Road is 2/10 of a mile long.
Yep.
ish.
And it's shared.
And then at that point, it is beyond that point, it is no longer a town highway. At
Private
some
road.
point,
and it's
100 years ago, according to the town maps, in 1931, because the town maps go back to 1931, the
right.
state website. In 1931, it was still 2/10 of a mile long.
Mhm.
So at some point prior to 1931, the town highway used to connect all the way down to Vanette Road,
There to there.
down on the valley.
Down onto the upper
So
valley.
prior to 1931, at some point, that was a town highway
That's
all
a
the way.
long time ago.
But since 1931, is it?
It's not been maintained. It went into like a
Yeah.
It was
class 4 and then.
It was reclassified at some point prior to 1931, that only 2/10 of it was town highway.
Exactly.
And which 2/10s?
The first.
From
2/10.
Pratt Road to the Polimus residence,
Rough.
which used to be the poorhouse, right? That was that's how I understood it.
You're on a different generation.
Right,
So,
okay.
but anyways, so according to the town, since at least 1931, the town highway has stopped, and that road beyond is a private driveway. Private road.
100%.
There was houses built out there in the
90,
70s,
90s.
80s, whatever.
90s.
Okay,
Oh, yeah. No, wasn't that long though.
No, it wasn't.
but there was no subdivision regulations
At
in
that
those
time.
days. So
Sure,
you could build 100 houses. I mean, my house is on a shared driveway, shared road. And there is no written agreement for that shared road. And it was built in the 2000s. That's,
The bridge, it's a beautiful bridge, yeah.
but if you were to build a driveway now, a shared driveway, you would have to follow the subdivision regulations, which
Sure.
tells you need a written road agreement, road association as part of the project. Now, the landowner has decided to develop and modify parts of that road.
hmm
It's not a town road.
So it's a,
So where's the problem?
Well, the landowners don't agree with what he's doing. The adjacent landowners don't agree with what he's doing.
well, and it's a shared road, but my understanding is now is that their only recourse is in the courts.
Cause there's a verbal agreement.
Right.
But it's, in my opinion, again, it had nothing to do with the town.
And I think I'm agreeing now, because because of what I'm learning right now, but that's why I'm thinking that it'd probably be good for the planning commission and DRB kind of.
Well, there's a couple of things going on
Educate.
to say. So that guy I told him, and I've already spoken to him to tell him that he was more than welcome to come in and talk whatever he wanted. Cause I'm just one select board member. That's my,
I said
I
that
gave
twice
him my
last night.
opinion. And, Eric gave him his thoughts as well on the matter and, we were aligned, or we are aligned. So he hasn't taken me up on it and hasn't come, so it's up to him how he wants to do that. Now, the other thing. Now, I mean, also, the planning commission is free to do that as well. If they want to come here and talk about it, we certainly can. I gave my comments on the subdivision regulations changes. And I went to a meeting a month ago or so where they talked about them and answered all my questions. And I was good.
Hmm.
They didn't take all of my changes, but I just provided my own feedback. It was not meant as you have to do this. It was just, this is my comments. They took some of them.
Right,
But it's all fair.
yeah,
The other thing is, and I suggested to the chair of the planning commission, was that we could bring this topic up at town meeting. And I think that's the more appropriate location to have that conversation. It's not just between the planning commission and the select board, but between the residents of this town. And if they want to talk about that strategy, I think that's the most productive way to have that conversation, is with members of the town. As many members of the town as possible. And I suggested to her that we could make an article at town meeting, whether it was actual vote, or it could be just a discussion, or it could be under other business and have a, you know, just a hand raised, non-binding vote. What people think about zoning, because that's really what you get.
That's where
Yeah.
we're going with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she shared her concerns with me many times. I don't necessarily agree personally with all of them. But again, that's why I said, I think this needs to be brought to
Yeah.
the bigger stage, literally, to talk about it, because it, just in this in this room, it can only be so productive to me.
Right.
Because you're gonna get 5 opinions, 6 and 7 if Don and Eric chime in, and then you're gonna get their 5 opinions, 5, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very small sample size. I think we need another 100, 150, 200 people at town meeting to weigh in.
Right.
It's an important decision, not one to be taken lightly.
Mm.
We've only been talking about it for 30 years.
Well, my understanding, I'm not much older than that number, but my understanding is it's been voted down every time.
Yeah. Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're welcome to come. I would say that they not discourage them from coming here to have that, but I think it's more productive to have that at town meeting.
Right.
My opinion. So,
So another future agenda item is the deer run, you know, people building things and then having their junk cars on our property, other things like that.
okay,
That's the only other one I'm aware of, but
well, I thought I took care of that, but maybe I hadn't. I haven't followed up. So that's certainly on me.
there's junk cars. It's a junkyard in the back.
When was this?
Yeah, today.
I talked with a guy 2 months ago and he was supposed to move them before the end of the year.
He's got 6 weeks.
Oh my gosh, it's it. Big week.
I can follow up on that because,
I've got a video I can show you.
no, I believe I drove up there because it was pointed out to me as well. And
Right.
I dealt with him a couple of years ago for a different, you know, with the slide and everything up there, talked about it. I got a previous relationship with him, so, but I was very clear that the stuff is on town property, there's a structure on town property and it needs to be relocated.
Yeah.
Good.
And if it needs to be done more formally, which is what it sounds like, we can make it more formally, like we did with Quinn Road.
If he said the end of the year, we'll give him.
I was trying to
Give
be
him
nice
that.
and do it verbally.
Yeah,
but
Well, I'd give
the
him a
next step-
reminder
the
that
next step
you're
is
down to
not-
6
that's
weeks.
so nice. So I'm gonna write that right down right now. Thank you for that reminder, because it was on my mental list to check.
Loop back to.
Learning all kinds of new things, or old things, whatever.
I think I have his email too. I will.
how you communicate with him.
Have to go on a Saturday because it's dark when I get home now. And when I leave. Funny how that works.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay. Agendas for next time, so.
I'm sorry.
Use that check for 2 months.
Absolutely.
Deal will check with April on that. Eric, let us know.
What's that?
Tila's gonna just check with April, so if that's what they wanna do or not.
Maybe you're gonna just talk about their relationship with DRB and what.
Yep.
Are you the liaison for that too?
Not there.
Dan is.
I am.
Oh,
Just, if she wants to schedule time, whether it's the next meeting or whatever, the next one after that.
and I don't want to.
Let Danny and Eric know, just so that we can make sure Woody and the DRB members can attend that same, or at least invite them to attend.
Is there need from you all to ask questions of both. I mean, we've talked about the planning plan, quite a bit. But it's just that question of zoning, I think, really is, should we be putting something on town report for the discussion about zoning with the town,
Yeah,
with the bigger group of people? I guess that's my question.
I had every intention of putting something in the town.
Yeah.
In the town meeting.
Oh, okay.
What exactly the format is, I don't know yet, but
Right.
I was hoping somebody who was very passionate about this project would kind of tell me what they wanted to do and when and how. I can't make every decision for every group in this town,
Yeah, okay.
so I can only do so much with what's given to me.
Does this mean?
Am I being clear? Let me know what you find out too.
Well,
Budget FY 26 continuation. That will just live on the agenda for the next 2 months. The last meeting I had, speaking of those, I had written down late December or early January for subdivision regulation. At a select board meeting. So if that's still their target, I guess, if we go. We talked about last time about a village meeting. I don't remember what we decided if we wanted to.
I reached out
Okay.
to everyone and I never heard back. So, I think that's a mess.
No response is a response.
Is a response. So,
Huh. You know what?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just that then they say, we didn't know anything about that.
I need to look at my own to-do list, because guess what I wrote last time on my to-do list? Check in at your own pace.
Good job. See, it's right there in black and white.
Two in a row.
So specifically with the Greenway, I think we should be asking them to share a meeting with us about, where the things that we are doing and moving ahead with, so this board can hear about it too. Know what we're.
Yeah. Okay.
I
would just
accused
send
of surprising people.
Yeah. Some of that's on there too, Peter.
sure.
Yeah, I just. I guess maybe do another reach out, Eric, to see if they lost in translation or like that. That's really all I had as far as specific items. I don't know if I'm misremembering anything or forgetting something. Stuff
good
always
list.
comes up.
Well, this is just a question. Did we ever get any follow-up on, I can't remember the woman's name who wanted to expand something at the transfer station? She wanted a,
Oh. I don't. Looking at Eric, she wants to put a shipping container next to the present building for expanded use there.
you remember that?
Yes,
She
the-
came and talked to us.
Yeah, we had a long email back and forth about the cap and there's no room, but
So it's a,
as far as I know, we didn't want to expand on the cap, so.
Well, that was my thought. I didn't want to deal with it, but says I didn't want to open a can of worms.
but did we
next-
loop back to her and
The
tell?
next step was also, there was the town highway crew needed to bring in some material to level it up, to relocate the bottle shed and to install the thing too, right?
I don't think, no, I think that we can put a shipping container right next to the building on some blocks and not hurt anything, but that's my opinion. it's already, it would be moving over. Casella has containers there all the time. It's being used that way anyway. I don't think it's a change of use at all.
Thought it was a room issue when it got to move the sheds or.
Well, that's what I thought.
I thought there was moving buildings.
She was gonna move the whatever, the other bottle bin over on the other side. But I don't think that's even necessary. Just there is a container right there, just over a little bit. Move it over about 3 feet and you can slide the other one right in between in the building and the open container that they have there.
I've stated my concerns multiple times about upsetting Casella with the room, with jamming too much stuff in there with the cap.
And she
I
seems
don't
to-
wanna
I
get the
haven't
phone
been-
calls. If you guys are comfortable, and I say you guys, you and Cheryl are okay with it, I just really want nothing to do with the phone calls or anything about
What
it.
if we did it in writing with Casella that it's okay to set that in there?
So we do have an agreement I found for the existing reuse shed in the maintenance and operation of that. So we probably could expand upon that if we were serious about doing that.
Can you send that to me?
Yep, I found it by accident the other
I
day.
was gonna say, it popped up.
I do, it was one of the very first things I came on the
2019.
select board that came up. Because there was fighting going, literal fighting going
Literal,
on at the transfer station.
Yeah.
Literal fighting at the transfer station over this shed.
Well, I'm not invested one way or the other. What I am invested in is when someone comes to us that we follow up and say yes or no, and then we let it go. And if the answer is no, the answer is no. That is fine with me. But I think we owe people a response and not drop the ball and think, yeah, what did we ever do about that?
We definitely responded.
We did. Okay, see,
We definitely gave,
She's been to 3 meetings. and
Yeah.
We've been.
in the email chain, it was, I mean,
extensive.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot.
Okay, good. That was
But I'll-
basic, my question.
You know,
We
if you
did-
just give that to me.
Yeah.
And as far as communication with Casella, I will make sure that we have it in writing that they're fine with this other bin being next to there.
Okay. Anything else for agendas for next time? Okay.
Thank you.
That being said, there'd be a motion to move into executive session for discussion of the product, service, quality issues with a vendor. With, Eric, Jessica, and Donna. Right?
So.
Seconded.
Discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained. Move in executive session at 8:16.
Good.
I think so.
So he is, she said, no.
Is that recording pause?
Oh, you turn it off, huh?
Yeah.